I spent the last couple of days watching the Women's Olympics basketball team, and I was surprised by what I saw during the games. I mean, did you see what just happened over in Paris? Caitlin Clark is fuming as game after game. We, as fans, have been proven right all along. She should have been there. Diana Taurasi and Chelsea Gray, the guards chosen over Caitlin Clark, had only 4 points combined. That's right, 4 points in the game against Nigeria. You're undoubtedly wondering how that's possible for Olympic-level players. Well, things get worse. They're 2 for 12 from the field and haven't made a three-pointer in 7 tries. These are the athletes chosen ahead of Caitlin Clark to represent the USA. How crazy is that? Now you may be asking how this compares to Clark's performance. But this is when things become very interesting. Taurasi and Gray are supposed to be excellent players, right? They have the most experience and have been there before. So, what happened? It's as though they forgot how to play basketball overnight. And you know what is crazy? This is more than just one terrible game. This might have far-reaching consequences for Team USA's Olympic prospects, especially for the semifinal against Australia. You might be wondering what this means for women's basketball. Is this the end of an era, or is it time for new talent to take the spotlight? Let's look at what's actually going on and why people are freaking out over these terrible statistics. Let's chat about Caitlin Clark. This rookie phenom has dominated the WNBA, averaging 17.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists in only 26 games. These are insane numbers for a rookie. She is not just playing well, she is dominating. Clark's effect extends beyond the metrics. Fans are going crazy about her, filling arenas and lighting up social media every time she takes the court. But here's the thing, Clark isn't at the Olympics. Yes, you heard that correctly. One of the most intriguing players in women's basketball today is watching from home. How can this even happen? That's when things become difficult. Fans are perplexed as to why Clark was left off the Olympic team. You might be wondering, with those figures, how could they not choose her? It is not that straightforward. The Olympic selection process is similar to a jigsaw with too many pieces. Skill, experience, team chemistry, all of these considerations come into play. And then there's they chose the squad months prior to the event, and Caitlin Clark had to skip out of the Team USA boot camp to play in the NCAA finals. This has always put her position at risk. But this is when things become very fascinating. In those 26 games, Clark hasn't just held her own in the WNBA, she's flourishing. She's shown that she is comfortable playing with the older ladies Taurasi was talking about. So while Taurasi and Gray struggle at the Olympics, supporters wonder, what if Clark had been there instead? Imagine Clark on that Olympic court, draining threes, making unbelievable passes, and having the fans on its feet. Could she have made the difference in that game, where Taurasi and Gray combined for only 4 points? We won't know for sure, but it's a burning question among enthusiasts. And let's not forget those empty stand for Team USA games, and if supporters show up, they're begging for Caitlin Clark. Not a good picture for Team USA if you ask me. So, what does this imply for women's basketball? Are we witnessing a change of guard? Is it time for the Olympic team to start taking more chances on youthful talent? Or is this simply a blip, a bad game or two that won't mean much in the end? Next to Clark eating herself up over the fact she has been sidelines for these players, fans are also going crazy over Taurasi and Gray's performance. Do you believe the backlash? The spectators couldn't believe what they were witnessing. A spectator dubbed it the most horrid start in the history of all bad starts to Olympic performances by 2 actual starters. That's not simply criticism, it's a full-on roast. However, the issue is more than just bad performance. Fans are going deeper and challenging the entire selecting process. You remember how we spoke about Clark being left off the team? People are unhappy about it. They're using phrases like politics and bias. One fan simply stated, "It's politics, it's a favoritism game." That is a severe accusation. You have to worry what this means for future team choices. Will they begin to heed fan feedback more, or will they stick to their beliefs and continue doing things the old way? One thing is certain, social media is playing a significant part in all of this. Every missed shot and turnover is being scrutinized online. Not only are fans participating in the discourse, but so are players and coaches. Some remarks are cruel. One admirer said, "Nobody cares. People are just indifferent now about this team." That had to hurt, right? Imagine working your entire life to represent your nation and then hearing that no one cares anymore. But here's the deal. Despite all of the criticism, the sport may benefit. Yes, you heard me correctly. Think about it. When was the last time people were so excited about women's basketball? When was the last time it made such big headlines? This scandal is making people pay attention. It's sparked conversations and gotten people involved. Isn't that ultimately what sports are all about? Getting people enthusiastic and making them care? Now let's speak about why Caitlin Clark wasn't on the plane to Paris. Remember how supporters threw around terms like politics and favoritism? Well, they could be onto something. Think about it. Clark has been lighting up the WNBA, shattering records left and right. So why doesn't she wear red, white, and blue? Some argue that it's all about paying your dues and earning your stripes before receiving the big call-up. Others believe it is about team chemistry and staying with the players that have been there before. But honestly, are we supposed to think that Clark wouldn't fit in, that she couldn't contribute something unique to the team? And let's discuss about marketability. Clark has the star power, the it factor, that converts casual viewers into devoted followers. She is more than simply a player, she is a brand. In today's world, that is important. It's much more than simply what occurs on the court. It's about establishing a fan base, creating excitement, and making women's basketball a major event. So, when you sum it all up, the skill, the excitement, the marketability, you have to ask if the Olympic selectors missed the target on this one. Did they pass up an opportunity to not only win games, but also win over a new generation of fans? Let's look at where things could be going. First up, Caitlin Clark. Sure, she isn't in Paris right now, but it doesn't mean her Olympic hopes are dead. In fact, this may be the finest thing that has happened to her. Think about it. Clark has been traveling non-stop since her undergraduate days. Now she has a chance to catch her breath, recuperate, and return even stronger. But it isn't just about Clark. This whole scenario is changing the way we look about Olympic team selection. You have to wonder if the process of selecting teams will alter. Perhaps we'll see more youthful talents getting their chance on the big stage. It's as if the fans are forcing the decision-makers to reconsider their methods. And it's not only the Olympics. The WNBA is also feeling the heat. They're witnessing firsthand what happens when you have a player like Clark who can fill seats and dominate social media. It is altering the game, both physically and metaphorically. Now here's when things become very fascinating. In women's basketball, there is an increasing friction between the old way of doing things and the new reality of star power. On the one hand, you have conventional league systems which hold that players must pay their dues before being given the big opportunity. On the other hand, there are players like Clark who have been altering the game since the beginning. It's a tug-of-war between experience and anticipation. The leagues want to recognize their senior players, who have been around for years. However, they cannot deny the reality that new stars attract new admirers, new enthusiasm, and, let's be honest, new money. You have to wonder how long they can keep these two forces balanced. At some point, something has to give. Will leagues begin to focus more on promoting individual players, or will they maintain a team-first mentality? But here's the issue about Clark. While everyone has been debating whether she should compete in the Olympics or not, she has been focused on one thing: helping her team win. Right now, she's completely focused on leading the Indiana Fever to the playoffs. Think about it for a second. She was just passed over for the Olympics, which is something every player aspires about. Instead of grumbling or allowing it get to her, she goes out every night and gives her best for her teammates. That is the type of attitude that wins championships. And you know what? Fans adore her for her resilience and devotion. It's why people are outraged that she was left off the Olympic squad. They see a player who is not just gifted, but also committed to her craft and her teammates. So, while Taurasi and Gray are suffering in Paris, Clark is back at home, practicing on her game, helping her team, and preparing for whatever comes next. She is playing the long game, and it is difficult not to appreciate that. But the big question remains, should she have been in Paris playing in the Olympics? And is her and the fans' disappointment with the current form of Taurasi and Gray justified? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.